Good afternoon, everybody. We will, as you can bring the students in, the choir is going to come in, and while they're getting ready, I'm going to go ahead and go through the first one or two slides, since I spent a little time on getting those ready. Just to remind you that the institutional pillars are our core values, and our core values, and I like to say this every time we start, just to remind you of why we're here. Student success in whatever area that they're going in, we want them to be successful. And those students are in the form of our regular freshman and sophomore students, as well as our non-credit students, clients and customers that we have. So when we say success, we're talking about student success for all people. Excellence, engagement, innovation, and integrity. So those are the key 5 terms that we have as our core values for the institutions. And today we have with us this lovely group of young folks who are our students, led by Mr. Bruce Henderson, who is our choir director, and music teacher. So these students will now render the national anthem and whatever other musical performance that they have selected.
singing hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, singing hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, Lord, don't feel no time, children, hallelujah. Oh, to shout, oh, this world is on fire. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Lord, you don't feel no place time and children. Oh, emotions shout glory, this world is on fire. Oh, yeah. Lord, I don't feel no place time and children. Oh, emotions shout when this world is on.
Students, just hold for just a second. Dr. Duncan, where are you? And Mr. Henderson, come over this way, please. These students have been working very hard. You see the voices are there, the training is there, they're coming along very well. And last year, this time, we did not have a choral group like this. We did have a jazz band, and we appreciated them, and some of those persons are in the group today. But I'm standing here before you today because they're trying to raise funds. They've made a commitment to go to Carnegie Hall in April of next semester. And they have a goal that they need to reach. And we would love it if you would certainly support them. I'm not going to ask you to pull out your pens and paper or cash out right now, but we expect to have some contributions from you for the choir so that they can support them. They've been fundraising. Some of you have supported them by buying the things that they asked, the popcorn sale, the chicken fry, fish fry that they had at the Arts Festival a few weeks ago, which were outstanding. So let's support this group. And Ms. Dr. Duncan, you can say anything?
Sure, absolutely. So it started with a small group this summer and expanded. This is not even the full group. There's just a few that couldn't make it today. They've been working so very hard. And, to go to Carnegie Hall just doesn't happen because you decide to go to Carnegie Hall. You have to be invited, okay? You have to get there by invitation. And we have a good partnership with the folks at Miles College, and Dr. Murphy over there is going to be the lead director. And this is just a once in a lifetime kind of thing. This is not something that can happen again next year or the year after. It's this year for us. And so, and that kind of thing takes a lot of money to do, to get there, to stay there, to be a part of that. And I haven't seen a group work any harder to raise this money. They are doing things all the time. They, the weekend of the festival, they performed 3 times that weekend. They performed that Saturday at the festival, the next morning at a church, that evening at the Magic City Festival in Bessemer. They've been to 3 other churches, Bruce, performing there, Demopolis, different places. So they are working extraordinarily hard. They work every day. They work outside of rehearsal. They have extra rehearsals. And because you don't get to sound this good without lots of effort. And to sing a cappella is the kind of seen vocally naked. You can't hide anything there. So you're hearing really good quality, and they have quite a repertoire by now. So I'm really, really pleased they have we're so blessed to have such a wonderful, talented, gifted director. And so he's been blessed. Sure, the pathways are as clear as possible for them to do what they desire to do. So thank you, Dr. Crawford.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Henderson, goal is about 75,000.
34,000 more to go.
Okay, just some special recognitions right now, honoring and remembering our veterans. On the Birmingham campus this year, and the Bessemer campus, under the direction of Ms. You gonna talk about this? Or you want me to talk? Come on. We hosted the Day of Remembrance and honoring the veterans. This was a governor's initiative from the state of Alabama, so we participated in that by planting flags on both campuses. And I don't know if they up, are they still down, or are they up?
So what happens is September is the month for veteran suicide awareness. And so in 2020, there were over 6,000 veterans who came back from the war who died by suicide. So in Alabama in 2020, there were 152. In 2021, because the statistics are a year behind, we were happy to see there were 6 less, but that's still 140 something too much. And it's that things just got overwhelming. Even today, Ms. Jackson and I talked to a student, and we talked to her for about 40 minutes, and she just kept saying, "I'm so tired. I'm so tired." So we're trying to get her in to see a counselor next week. Dr. Herndon normally tries to do that with our veterans. And so I might reach out to the 3 instructors, see how we can help her finish. She actually came last night, but she left crying at our event. She didn't even stay.
Go ahead and mention the event. So
Okay. And so our event last night, we had our first ever student. Well, we appreciate students all the time for our veterans, but it was our first dinner that we've been trying to have for a number of years. And it was so nice. We have over 150 students using VA benefits. They may not be the veterans, they may be dependents, but we culinary arts did a fantastic dinner. Our speaker this is Dr. Anthony and Dorian with our speaker, Commander Jarman from the American Legion Post 347. It's the one in Fairfield. But he did a phenomenal job of speaking, and what he spoke on was really relevant. We were so happy that our students, you can see our students, our ambassadors, our IPOP students were there to assist with it. And the culinary students, they looked amazing. Food was amazing. Dr. Anthony was very pleased. Dr. Dean Vance, Dr. Crawford, Dr. Joy, Dr. Swain were there to assist and show appreciation. Mr. Wade was there. Mr. Ray was there as a +1 to his wife, who was actually a student, but he was there. And we appreciate all that you all do for our students. We just want you to remember and recognize that sometimes things get a little overwhelming. We've had veterans who may have been military police, but serve as police force here. Sometimes they walk through the hall, and one said this to me. He said, "Everywhere I go, I see somebody I've arrested. Or he said, I need to do online classes." So we just want to ask you to just be empathetic, maybe, towards different different things that they may be going through. And so when I email you and say, hey, the student's having a hard time, is there a way that you can do some extra tutoring? They can do this. It's because we've spoken with them and there may be things that they're going through that they may not want to talk about. And we're just asking you to be compassionate. Maybe they just need a little extra time or a little extra assistance. Dr. Stephanie, she'll say, well, if they come, we can walk through, get through the part they're having a problem with, then they can go on and maybe do the rest of it. In that flag, I want to say Career Tech is so awesome. As you saw, Career Tech, every time we say we need to do this or that, Career Tech comes out in full force, as you see on both campuses. Those were the cosmetology and barbering students, mostly on the Birmingham campus, and our automotive and HVAC and machine tool students on the Bessemer campus, mostly. There were some others intermingled in, but Career Tech, I just would like to give you a hand because you always show up. Always.
That leads us into our special recognition, so you can go and do your veterans appeal. And Ms. Jackson, where are you? Tanita, is she in here or she's back?
Because we can have, she's in our office.
She's in office, on office. Well, she's probably listening, so thank you for helping out with the all of the veterans events that we've had this year. Okay, go ahead with that.
Okay, so you should have gotten one of these off the table. Student Services is partnering with Alethea House for homeless vets. So this is not the same coat drive that we have normally. We are doing that. Dr. Anthony has approved that. But Dean Vance has approved that Student Services can assist with the items needed for homeless vets. We do have a box here. There will be a box in every area of Student Services. They're listed on the back. We will have boxes on both campuses. They want to pick all these items up on December 1st. So it's just extra soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, that kind of stuff. A blanket if you have it, it doesn't have to be that. It's really just hygiene items. Our goal in the state of Alabama through the governor and Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs is to not really have any homeless vets. And there's nothing we can do about it. But again, sometimes things happen and they are not housed. Also, so we have that. And again, they're wanting to pick up on December 1. So our deadline is really November 31st so that we can get those packaged up and picked up from both campuses. And then the home front for the blue and green, we have applications there so that if you want one, you can take it and distribute to any student in your area, but they have to be veteran related. That means that if you're a grandmother, you can put your grandchildren's name on there, but they have to document that they're a veteran. So if you're the dependent, then you have to use your veterans information there, but you can put your children's information on there. So these applications are here if you want to take some to distribute in your classroom. Also, we have the different flags here. The only one missing is the new Space Force flag. We could not find that. Mr. Wade looked for that. We couldn't find it, but we have that display here so you can see that. And thank you again. Now, we want to recognize our veterans now. Okay. So if you are a veteran or a dependent, well, veterans first, will you please stand? We have a gift bag for you from students, from Officer Community. And we are so thankful for you. And we would like to ask you if you would come first to get a bag, or they're gonna bring it to you. And we thank you for your service. For those of you who are still active, there's some that's listed here that say that they are still in the reserves. So we appreciate what you do and what you have done. Also, we have several that are actually spouses or dependents, children. If you will stand, we will make sure that you are gifted with a bag as well. And we appreciate all that you have done for your service member, because it does take a lot to support a service member and a veteran. My son is a veteran. I'm constantly trying to see where his mind is, because some of those people that we've lost in Alabama came back with him from Afghanistan. So he was devastated when that very first one walked into the river when he said he was going fishing. The boat was found still tied up, but the friend was floating and he just walked into. So that's devastating to the people that they serve with as well as the families. So. Some of you did not respond to the survey that Ms. Elma sent out. So we do want to say that we have updated our list. Ms. Elma will have it from now on, and Dr. Crawford. So if you did not respond to that survey and you need to add your name to our list, please let me know and we will update it and get it to Dr. Crawford so they will have it for next year.
Thank you so much. Let's do this. Williams. Bill's responsibility to bring in some great talent. So I think we started with one time using talent acquisition, but she's a human resource person. So we brought in quite a few folks with great skills and talents that we're going to be using to move the college forward. So some of them you met most of these people already, but let's just call them out just in case they're here today. Ms. Nicole Adams, Director of Library. Stand up so we can see you. Nicole just joined us a few weeks ago, not very long. RJ McCarroll, Director of MIS. Where's RJ? He's somewhere working. We gotta be trying to get that report together. All right, Mr. Keani Hood. Keani, are you in here? Mr. Hood? Assistant Director of Facilities. Thank you, Mr. Hood. Mr. Hood has come in and been really a tremendous help to us so far and moving forward. Hopefully you can keep up the pace that we need him to keep it up. All right, Ms. Lisa Robinson, Student Records Specialist. I have not met you, Ms. Robinson. She's out. Okay. Ms. Dominique Foster. Dominique. Oh, there she is back there. Nursing instructor. Ms. Simone Smith. She's at a conference. Account receivable person, making sure we're bringing in all that money that people owe us and students owe us and other folks. All right. Jandra Cadale. Ms. Cadale, where are you? Stand up. It's good. All right. Sorry about the name mixed up, Jandra, but hey, we'll change it on this. It's just on a piece of paper. Workforce Development Specialist. She's in the area with Mr. Hobbs and Josh Caden and Joy Jones, Dr. Jones. So thank you for the work that you all are doing there. Do we have anybody else we miss who feel like you're new? I see somebody in a red dress in the back there. Okay. Everybody looking for you. Recently, we had the Music and Arts Festival that was funded through one of our legislators, Patrick Sellers, and his funds committed to that. Part of that and part of the funds from the college supported most of the funds that we had. We did a wonderful thing on a very limited budget. I mean, a very small, meager budget, and they did an outstanding job with it. And Dr. Duncan, her team, the Fine Arts Department did an excellent job with that. So all you're part of the Fine Arts Department, please stand, including the dean. Who's the part of dean, including the dean? Including the dean. Thank you so much. That was a really good event. If you didn't get a chance to attend that, so I don't know whether we started something that's going to be going forward or not, but hopefully they will give us more money if they want us to allow them to be the sponsors. Okay, thank you. Then on yesterday, this was a really great event as part of the White House initiatives for HBCUs. Dr. Davis and Ms. Akila Haley, and I think a few others might have been on that committee, but Dr. Davis again, Ms. Haley is holding down one of the offices. She's not here. She's probably listening. That event was hosted yesterday on the Birmingham campus from the Department of Labor Federal Employment Workshop. And special thank you to all of those who brought your students there, prepared them to come and partake of that event. There were at least pretty close to 100 students who signed up for that event, stayed around. They stayed during the class time and they stayed beyond the class time. Some mingled with the people at the end in order to get information about being employed. They were looking for all majors. They didn't have any special majors that they were looking for. They were looking for anybody who could fill the jobs that they know that they're getting ready to leave or retire from. So they were looking for a workforce for the federal and internship positions as well. Thank you so much for that. Ooh, I didn't know I put that fanciness on that. Oh, look at that. Here are the Chancellor Awardees for 2023. Dr. Paul Pruitt, Administrator. Brenda Hahn. Is Brenda here? She's staff. Jeffrey Rayford, who is Jeff, are you Rayford? There, Mr. Rayford, you stand up back there. He's one of our HVAC instructors. Mr. Carlos Morris. Mr. Morris, stand up back there. These are they'll be recognized during the ACCA event coming up pretty soon, the next weekend or so, a couple weekends from here. They'll get their official recognition, but we are giving them accolades today. And they were selected by the peers from the faculty staff recognition committee. If you're on that committee, please stand. If you're on the faculty staff recognition committee, this is your report. All right, see that? These are the people who selected this folks. All right, sit down, Jeff. You're not telling anybody know you're on that committee. It's all good though. Well, everybody's. All right. One more thing I need to recognize is the staff and faculty of the Caring Campus Collaborative. I call it Collaborative Committee because you've been working together. I don't know if you have an official name to tie both of you together. There was a staff committee for Caring Campus. Janine Jones was leading that. And then there was also a faculty committee that was led by Dr. Davis and his Brenda Johnson, one of our adjunct faculty. But a lot of you participated in this. So if you're part of the Caring Campus event, please stand. Let's give you an applause for your work and recognizing people around campus for what you're doing. And I suppose to have a note somewhere here to let you know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That Caring Campus would be kicking off their Cult in the Act of Caring Awards. All of you are eligible for this, but you must demonstrate what? Caring behaviors and attitudes and acts of kindness toward your students and toward your fellow colleagues. So this nomination process will open up tomorrow, I believe, and go through November 17th. You will have the ability to nominate this. I think it's going to come out by email, and you will have the ability to nominate somebody that you think should be deserving of this newly instituted award, Cult in the Act of Caring. Okay, think about that and make sure that you can justify the person that you're going to recommend. All right. Thank you for that again. And just wanted to put Wally here. Oh, he's at basketball practice because I think they have a game this afternoon, but I just want to recognize that athletic department, AG, Dr. AG. Is he also getting ready for a basketball game? Oh, there you stand up, Dr. AG. His team had a good year, but they lost on last Friday. I was looking to go to Mobile over the weekend to watch them play, but they lost in the first game, so it kicked them right out of the tournament. But they had a pretty good year, a very good team. These are the students who are graduating or at least eligible to graduate and may move on to the four-year institutions. So Dr. Anthony had a chance to pose with them because she had another event right before the game last week, the last home game. So that is the group of young ladies that are moving on to another level. And here is something that I thought was a feel-good story that was sent to me. And I saw this on the news. I did not know that it was actually one of our students. The young lady who won the Milking Award from the City of Birmingham school system is Corey Cunningham, and she's an alum of Lawson State. He received an associate degree here in English in 2011. Where are my English teachers? All right. So I pulled the story and I gave credit to the people who wrote the story. All right. So I didn't write the story, so I put it out there. But I wanted you to know that we do have students who are doing awesome things out there in the community. So, Dr. Anthony, are you going to speak now or are you going to just do it at the end? At the end. I will. Dr. Green. Myrtes. What's she said? Dr. Green will come and talk to you about, last time we highlighted the workforce development division unit. So this time we're highlighting Title III, so some of you can get more of an understanding what Title III does for the college.
Good afternoon. Okay, thank you. So, Title III. Many of you know that a lot of us are part of Title III, one way or the other. And I have the privilege of being the director of Title III. Title III is a federally supported program by the U.S. Department of Education. And Lawson is a beneficiary of more than $5 million annually where Title III is concerned. There are two parts to this federal program. There's the HBCU Part B, which is strengthening historically Black colleges and universities. And for the 23-24 year, we got over $4.3 million from that. And that $4.3 million supports 10 activities. I'll talk about those in a minute. We also are beneficiaries of what's known as, HBCU Part F. And that is an add-on program. Title III has been around since the late 1960s. I believe Lawson has been a part of Title III after it got you have to have accreditation from a regional agency. And Lawson received that accreditation, I believe it was 1969. So we've been a member and a recipient of these funds since then. And they have been gradually increasing. I have been here going on 19 years, and our allocation has gone from approximately 1.5 million when I first came to, as I've said, over 5 million. As a part of the HBCU Part F award, we receive approximately $900,000 a year. It varies. How do we get those funds? We get those funds because we are officially designated historically Black college or university. There are 96 such institutions across the nation who are recipients of funds. And the larger institutions such as Florida A&M, Howard University, they get up to approximately $20 million a year as a part of that process. I annually have to fill out data forms. I take this opportunity to thank Jamie Glass, Lori Chisholm for their work in helping us to document our students and where they are. The Part F funds, there is a formula for Part B, and it's based on financial aid, the number of graduates that you have, the Pell recipients. Part F is based on that as well. But Our Part F funds also include graduates who go on to receive degrees at the graduate level within 5 years of graduating. And so Lori and Jamie do a very good job of helping us to provide that information. As a part of Part F, we have 3 activities under that. The federal government mandates that each institution, there are 5 focus areas that you can apply for funds in. And these are legislatively mandated funds, so they'll be around until the Senate and the federal government decides that they no longer want them. They can't just do away with them. It has to become a legislative mandate. But they mandate that you apply for funds in 5 areas. Lawson's funds focus on 3 of those areas. So we have 3 activities that focus on improving academic quality. And you have a handout that has all of the activities on there. As a part of the academic quality, we have strengthening the gateway courses. Dr. Cherie Davis is the activity director for that one. And ultimately, the goal there for the next 5 years is to reach a 75% retention rate as well, overall, as well as course passage rate, but using a baseline data of 62%. The second activity, refocusing distance education. Dr. Keisha James is the activity director there. And again, improving retention. The goal is to provide those online students with strategies and resources as a part of their matriculation. The third activity, repurposing and strengthening the library. Ms. Adams will have that. And the goal there, of course, is to increase ebook collections by 500 over the 5-year period, and to increase the media collection by 100 resources. So everybody gets a budget. They ask for what they want. They don't always get what they want, but we do our best to distribute equitably the $4.3 million for this particular activity. The second area is student services. Here, we funding the QEP. And all of you know that our quality enhancement plan focuses on retention. And the goal there is to increase, again, retention by 5% annually, using the baseline of 54%, as well as to increase the graduation rate by 5%. And hopefully Mr. Walyum has some information on those this afternoon, those numbers. And then the third student services area is called the Space Center. And of course, Ms. Leslie Harper is responsible for that. And our Space Center is an acronym for strengthening student persistence through advising, collaboration, and engagement space. I hope you see the theme that's here. Advising, retention. All of us, Title III was refocused and repurposed this year, from last year rather, with the full implementation of activities such as the gateway courses starting this year, so that we can have a better impact on retention and student success. The second area rather, that we focus on, third area, is institutional management. Here we have professional development. Dr. Bruce Crawford is responsible for that activity. And our goal there is to provide at least 70% of full-time faculty with professional development opportunities. So any request for those professional development opportunities has to go through Dr. Crawford. And then the budget, of course, comes from Title III. And program admin, which Ms. Todd and I are responsible for ensuring the effective implementation of the plans of operation that have to be submitted every 5 years as a part of that process. And then the last area that Lawson focuses on is fiscal stability with 3 activities there. strengthening the fiscal stability, and that person is Mr. Dow. He will be responsible for that. And that one looks at making sure that fiscal affairs staff are trained and that they can get the skills that they need, and that the office itself successfully completes data cleansing and mitigation, risk analysis, and all those other things that go along with being fiscally responsible. The second activity under fiscal stability is improving instructional facilities. And instructional facilities is under Mr. Keani Hood. He stepped in already to help complete a lot of activities, or at least start those activities, with the overall goal of completing unfinished construction projects that are in place. And although we cannot take full responsibility from Title III, we do contribute funds to that as Ms. Cruz needs them. So our pocketbooks are always open to somebody, right, Ms. Cruz? And the second area, the third area is strengthening management information systems, and Mr. McCarroll will be responsible for that. So we provide the laptops, any training sessions that have to be done, and in making sure that the help desk is fully staffed. And then the futures activities are somewhat repetitive, of course, program admin. Anytime you have a grant, you have to have program administration. And if there's an award too, as we have both of those, both has to have a program admin component. And then we also have improving the academic infrastructure and facilities. Please note that I've talked about academics and/or instruction for both B and F. So you may think the road needs paving. I agree, but Title III funds cannot be used to pave the road. Okay, it's for instructional facilities only. So we can update and renovate instructional facilities. Okay, and then also as a part of Part F, we have an activity called Strengthening Health Professions, where we are trying to help the nursing area, the medical radiologic technology program, and the cybersecurity program come up to par accreditation with the health professions, and to try to get cybersecurity up and off the ground and running with a good and stable foundation. So Title III funds are beneficial to the institution. You all were able to, we were able to use CARES funds to get all of the laptops and other equipment that you got. But those of you who were here pre-COVID, you know, anytime you ask for a laptop or a desktop, that came from Title III. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Green. I guess you don't want any questions, huh? Was it not clear? It was clear. Thank you very much. And we appreciate the help that Title III actually gives to all our programs at the college. And I don't know if Dr. Green emphasized the fact that all the computing, the internet access and all of that kind of stuff that we have on both campuses benefit through Title III. So those are things that we're able to appreciate. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Dr. Green, again. Dr. Albright, did she make it in? I think she's on annual leave. He's on the way. We're going to keep on going. Just know that she'll probably asking you something about the United Way campaign that will start pretty soon and go through the 22nd. We want you to make contributions to that. If you would do that, is payroll deductible, and or either you can make a full contribution at one time. All right, administrative services, Mrs. Cruz.
Good afternoon. I'm gonna be very brief. I only have a couple of things, and the major one is, well, make that the last one. The other notes are, if you do not have a parking decal and an ID card, you do need to make sure you get those every year. So we're supposed to have them and display them. And, you know, mine might say 2023. I'm not sure, but make sure yours say 23, 24. Chief does have a process that we are at that point where we do need to start giving out parking tickets. And as things are clearing up from the construction, then, you know, parking will open back up, but you do need to park appropriately. And even though Dr. Green cannot pay for paving, we are going to make an effort to try to make our parking look better as the buildings are brought back up. We do need to make an effort to enhance the parking. So just don't go through the potholes. But get your ID and your decal so we'll know that you're eligible to park there. Also, as we close down the end of 2023, if you've changed your address, moved, or changed your name or anything where you need to update your human resource records or payroll information, when we finish our W-2 forms, if you don't pick them up, you will be able to get them out the portal, but we do mail them because that's a requirement. Whatever address you have on the system, that's where they will be mailed to. So please update your information, your personal information, your contact information with HR. Plus, you know, a lot of people, and tell your staff that are in other locations, if they don't come to campus every day and they wouldn't be in a position to pick up their W-2 form, they need to know that they should have updated their address with payroll or HR. Okay. And because of phishing, there is a process for that. They probably need to do a form and send it in to HR, or because we don't want anybody to send in a form and with an email and that address is somebody else's address. That has happened. The travel item is kind of complicated, but it actually is the state of Alabama effective August 1st. So when you attend conferences, you know that you were allowed, if there was a dues or membership conference, then you were allowed to take actual reimbursement. You didn't have to worry about the cost of your rooms and the cost of hotels. Well, the state of Alabama has decided that for any approved travel, that it does not have to be a state conference or anything. And if it's in state, we will pre-approve all of your, or prepay all of your expenses, the hotel rooms, your registration. We can pre-approve, we can prepay it before you leave, and then you will file for per diem. That keeps us from having to keep up with everything that you have to keep up with. However, if we don't have your hotel receipt when you check out, you do have to bring that back. But it does not have to be just a dues paying membership. We're gonna try to help. You know, we have that question all the time when people are going out of town. And so, but I think it'll make it easier. You should prepay. Now, one of the things that the new policy, and we'll add that to what's our policy online on the L Drive, but it does emphasize that travel has to be pre-approved and then you can pay it. A lot of times we'll travel and then it's like when I get back. So you got it by word of mouth because Dr. Crawford said it was okay, but you still have to have your paperwork in that's dated prior to your travel. So we do need to make sure we keep that in the forefront of our minds and plan our travel so that we can pay. We actually save money when we pay your registration or your hotel room or your airline tickets. They're cheaper. So in an effort to save money, if nothing else, let's start reminding ourselves to get our travel in earlier. I know we all get busy, but this policy will help us out as you travel so that it won't cost you if it's not a membership paying conference, but any meeting that you go to. So look for the instructions in the guidelines, and we've been working with Ms. McKenzie and Dr. Crawford's office to help our instructors when they travel. Any questions on press the next, but human resources, Ms. Baird? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be brief as well. Wanted to acknowledge our winners of our pumpkin carving contest. You've got to have kind of a sense of humor to work in HR and plumbing. So HR and plumbing teamed up. We teamed up to create Buddy the pumpkin maker. This is Buddy. And that's how pumpkins are really made.
Hold on for a second. This was.
He's making pumpkins. So thank you to our professor, Mr. Mike Latham. Thank you, Mike. And thank you to the HR team. Ms. Tabor Alexander is here, and Ms. Madrika Beauchamp is at Albug, I believe. So thank you all. They worked very, very hard putting Buddy together. So, all right. Also, a reminder that we have a flu vaccine clinic on Monday at 8:30, from 8:30 to 10:30, Bessemer campus multi-purpose room. And they are asking that you sign up for it. So they may take walk-ins if they have availability, but it's no guarantee. So please sign up, because they did cancel the last one on the Birmingham campus. We didn't have enough people to sign up. So that's coming up this Monday. If you want to get a flu vaccine, be sure to bring your insurance cards if you get a vaccine. And a reminder about performance evaluations. About 2 months ago, I guess, all the supervisors received an email for goal setting. So if you didn't do anything, the performance evaluation is stuck at you, and it's not going to roll when it's time in December. When it's time to do the mid-year eval, it's not going to roll. It's going to stay stuck at you. So please do something, even if you just acknowledge it and send it on. Everyone has to have the 100 points of professional development, so just stick that in there. But please don't ignore goal setting, because you have to acknowledge it and send it so that the employee can receive it and acknowledge that they know they have some goals they need to meet for the year. And also a reminder, in December, supervisors, you will receive an email for a mid-year evaluation as well. And it's pretty simple. I think it's just you're going to acknowledge kind of where the employee is at the midpoint. So just be on the lookout for that. These are auto-generated. It's all set up at the ACCS level. So we can't change how it rolls. So just be on the lookout for that. And I believe that's it. Oh, I don't answer questions.
It was part of your last presentation, so I left it on there.
Say this, Dr. Crawford. Also, for the goals, employees, when you receive the goals, you have to acknowledge it as well, because if you don't, it's going to be stuck at you. So everyone that receives the email regarding goals, please acknowledge so that it keeps rolling. Thank you.
Sir, I'm just gonna cover 15, 20 minutes. That want me to do a show?
Good afternoon. Gotta take up a few minutes of your time. Dr. Crawford asked me to go over the AED defibrillators, talk about that briefly, and to talk about the getting certified to deal with if you see someone having a heart attack or a stroke. I know most of us think we'll never be in that situation. I'm looking around this room. I think everybody in it got an AARP card. Right, I gotta pay attention. We got some members. We got some members. So could I get Cody Williams to step up for just a second? Cody, sit here. There is some training that we're gonna try to get out to you. If y'all are interested in being certified, and all my police officers have to do it, be certified in CPR. The way we do it is on a video called Cardiac Solutions. And the good part about that, it doesn't take, when you start doing it, you can walk away, because all of us are busy. You can walk away and go take care of your business, come back and go back on it. And it's very good because it gives you tests, pop quizzes as you go on through each stage, because it doesn't cover just CPR, it covers shock, stroke, choking, stop the bleed, and heart attacks. And it also covers the Good Samaritan Act, and which basically means if you see somebody down, it's because a lot of people say, well, I'm afraid to try to help because I might make it worse. Well, I've been in those situations that this is my mindset. They're already dead. What else can I do? So, but you got to find a way to fight through it, to go ahead and do what you've been trained to do. Because a lot of times, I understand you thinking I might make it worse. If they're laying there and they're gone, they're coding out, you're going to react the way you've been trained. These defibrillators that we have around campus, you may get nervous when it comes down to doing. Just the other day, we had the fire alarm go off when I was doing fire drills last Friday. In the new building, the construction worker was the only person that had the key to the alarm panel. And by the time he got there, the alarm was just screaming, and I'm telling him, put the key in the hold button, shut it off. And he was just shaking. I said, sir, that's called a pucker factor. Now breathe and put the key in the hole so we can get the alarm cut off. These things are not as difficult to operate as you think. Once you cut it on, it will basically prompt you to tell you what to do. It's not, it's going to tell you what to do.
Clothing from the patient's chest to expose bare skin.
It's going to prompt you all the way.
From liner.
It's going to prompt you all the way through. So you're not going to be on your own. Plus, there are pictures back here to show you what to do. It's not as difficult as it may appear. But I know it's difficult and different if you've never done it. If you've seen somebody that have that look in their face and you know they're about to check out, or probably already have, just keep in mind, they're already in bad shape. You're just going to do what you can do to help. The Good Samaritan Act will cover you, and it talks about that in the training in the video. Once you get certified, you go into a database. Even if you're at, let's say I'm on campus and someone at Walmart is having a heart attack, I'll get notified to see if I can go to the scene. That's for anybody here to get certified. It's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to know. Good, very good training. Now, one thing I will advise everyone to do, I keep these in my office at all times. 81 milligram bare aspirin. If someone is having a bad day and they grab their chest and you're not sure, pop to them in their mouth. You may save someone's life. 81 milligram bare aspirin. I keep them in my office because you never know. Someone might be having not sure what's going on with her. So with that, I'm gonna let Cody, he is gonna teach my officers to stop the bleed, because we have stop the bleed kits in the patrol cars at the time. Once I get Mr. Hood get on his feet, I'll get with him, we'll decide where we're gonna mount this, because I do have stop the bleed kits. They're not for, and that's one of my biggest concerns, someone having a paper cut and thinking you can go in the stop the bleed kit. Is for trauma events. And I said, the one thing about this video, once you go into this training, It's gonna show you how to deal with stop the bleed. And it, like I said, it's very good. Takes about 3 hours to do it, but the way they got it set up, you can come back to it. And if you need a refresher, because you have to do it every 2 years, you can go back. Like I said, one of the biggest things I always forget is how to do the Heimlich maneuver on a pregnant woman, because you can't do it like you normally would on a regular individual. And it also shows you what to do when the person's choking and they've already fallen out on the ground. So these are things that you would take for granted, but you never know the situation you may be in 15 minutes from now. Cody?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Cody. I am the EMS program director. I'm going to give some credit to Mr. Holman. He actually brought this up to me one day. He gave me a call and I asked if we could do some sort of training with faculty members, resident advisors and stuff like that with regards to Stop the Bleed campaign. So unfortunately, with today's society, we're seeing a lot of mass shootings, terrorist activities and everything like that. That kind of freezes us in a situation. Okay, there's some people out there that might be able to jump up and act really quick to apply a tourniquet or apply hemostatic gauze to individuals that either have gotten shot or stabbed. So the biggest thing with what Chief Blanton and I want to do and implement is making sure that we're all trained up to, if we ever encounter a situation like this, that we can use the equipment that's provided in these training kits and know how to appropriately apply a tourniquet, when to apply it, when to apply pressure dresses and stuff like that. Where pressure points are for arterial bleeds and stuff like that. So if you got to break your artery right here, you're going to put pressure on that to help control that bleeding. And we want to make sure that in the event that something like this happens, that you're comfortable with providing that first aid care to these patients. So the biggest thing with the Stop the Bleed campaign is if somebody has an arterial bleed, they're bleeding out really quickly, and we're there, we know what to do. We can apply that tourniquet. We have the equipment, we have the training. That is going to have a better patient outcome for that individual. So that's something that we really want to get together. We want to start trying to implement this, trying to figure out where to put this equipment that is readily accessible in the event that something like this does happen. Also gives you kind of a education on how to protect yourself, where to go in a situation as something as a mass shooting would happen. The other biggest thing that Chief Blanton talked about was doing the CPR, was recognizing the signs and symptoms of stroke, cardiac issues, cardiac arrest, things of that nature. When you're better prepared in an instant like this, you're not going to freeze. I see it. You know, I've done this for 17 years on the fire truck, on the medic unit and everything. We come up on scenes and we see that lay person just standing there on their phone, shaking. They don't know what to do. The person's falling out. The easiest thing that individual can do if you're trained is immediately start CPR. Okay, like Chief said, this person's already circling the drain. We're not going to do anything that's going to hurt them. We're going to only provide them the best outcome if we act quickly. And we act proficiently. Okay, so providing CPR and applying that AED within the first 2 minutes of that patient going unresponsive. So any questions with regards to that?
If you all are interested, send me your email. I will send your email to Ms. Lewis at Cardiac Solutions. She's going to send you an email with a website. I'm going to send you an email with a key code. Once you receive the information from Ms. Lewis from Cardiac Solutions, you use the key code to get in and use the key code to pay for it. It's already paid, because at the end it's going to tell you to pay for it and how you're going to pay for it. You're going to use the key code that I provided to you. If you're interested, again, send me an email and I will forward to Ms. Lewis. I think Dr. Crawford started taking did you complete it? You got help. Yeah. No, I don't get a list. All I have is the people who I provide the key codes to. I don't get a certification list of who has actually taken the training.
email with their completion?
I don't even get the email. They've made some changes at Cardiac Solutions. I don't even get the email once the training is completed. They're gonna send you. Okay, okay. Some faculty members did bring me there or email me their certification cards. But for the most part, I'm not sure who's completed it or not. Harold's gonna show you all a video, a quick video of just what the training looks like. Sir, give him about a minute or so, just to see.
Just a couple minutes.
Yeah. Then that box out there, when I opened it, it's that beep. So when you open the box, you'll hear that beep. Don't panic. It's just letting someone know it's been opened. Yes, sir. We don't have them in every building yet. We're working on it. Yes, sir. I'm going to bring, I have Ms. Cruz bought me what, about 10 or 15 of them or more than that. And I have 2 that I will use them for training. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Harold.
Now we're going to cover a summary or highlights of the latest information in the 2020 American Heart Association Emergency Cardiovascular Care Guidelines that were published at the end of October of 2020. Now, even with all of the changes and improvements in the recent years, the American Heart states that less than 40% of adults receive layperson-initiated CPR, and actually fewer than 12% have an AED applied to them prior to EMS's arrival. There hasn't been a significant improvement in survival rates since 2012 for out-of-hospital cardiac arrests. While out-of-hospital survival rates remain about the same, the good news is in-hospital cardiac arrest outcomes have continued to improve. Now let's look at early initiation of CPR by lay rescuers. Laypersons should initiate CPR for presumed cardiac arrest because the risk of harm to the patient is low if the patient is not in cardiac arrest. Why do we make this statement? Well, new evidence shows that the risk of harm to a victim who receives chest compressions when they're not in cardiac arrest is quite low. Lay rescuers are usually not able to determine with accuracy whether a victim has a pulse, and the risk of withholding CPR from a pulseless victim exceeds the harm from unneeded chest compressions. Laypersons should receive training in how to respond to victims of opioid overdose, including the administration of naloxone. In regard to real-time audio-visual feedback, this was really unchanged and reaffirmed. It may be reasonable to use audio-visual feedback devices during CPR for real-time optimization of CPR performance. Now let's cover care and support during recovery, which is a vital and important piece to how to handle all of the things that encompass a rescuer, whether they're lay rescuer or professional, when it comes to providing CPR to a loved one or a patient. Debriefings and referral for follow-up for emotional support, whether they're a lay rescuer, EMS provider, or a hospital-based healthcare worker after a cardiac arrest event is definitely beneficial. Care and support during recovery included 3 new recommendations. 1, cardiac arrest survivors should have a multimodal rehabilitation assessment and treatment for physical, neurological, cardiopulmonary, and cognitive impairments before discharge from the hospital. Secondly, cardiac arrest survivors and their caregivers should receive comprehensive multidisciplinary discharge planning to include medical and rehabilitative treatment recommendations and return to activity or work expectations.
That's just a sample of the video. That's what the video is going to look like. It is very good. It's very thorough. And while I got the podium, for you all who did not complete your CSA training, you CSAs, I need you all to do me one favor. Complete this form right here. Dr. Davis did an amazing job, and she did it in 20 minutes while off duty at the hospital. I was super amazed. I need you all to make sure these forms are complete. This is part of our clery audit. And if it doesn't get completed, if I got your name, and I will forward it to Dr. Anthony. She's gonna be mad in the pack of wood, because you didn't do it. So please make sure that you not only look at the Dr. Davis, but the second part, I need this form back. You all need to come get a copy of one. I got about 20 in my hand, my campus security authority. That is it for me, Dr. Crawford. Thank you, Cody.
Sir.
While they're sending up Dean Vance, we really want to do a more in-depth training. So we're going to try to see how to weave some of that into the professional development days at the end of the, during the ACCA week. So we'll see if we can get one more session of some actual hands-on training. Dean Vance.
Like, first I want to remind you of Dr. Davis, and I think she's going to cover this in her presentation as well, about pregnancy Title IX. We are getting a lot of cases. Just want to remind everyone that is ran through the Student Services division by sending it to me or Janine Jones. And so, what we want to do, the way we decided to do it was to just treat it like any regular accommodation, ADA accommodation, although it's not ADA, but we're going to run it, and we're going to run it through there so we can have proper documentation and to keep us out of trouble, like some of our, some other institutions. One thing that's coming through Student Services, Dr. Anthony charged us to do the Finish What You Started program. I did send it to her. She hadn't had time to look at it yet, but we convened a committee last week with Dr. Jones, Ms. Chisholm, Mr. Dow, Mrs. Hollins, to create a program to address our stopout students. So what we did like early January, Ms. Chisholm and I met, and we just started. I said, look, let me see how many students that we have. That's about 15 credit hours from graduating. It was astonishing how many it was. And I don't know if Dr. Anthony read our minds or what, but this summer she said we need to get a program started. We need to get an initiative started. And so we actually met and decided to do that. Anything that we do in Student Services, we always focus on the mission, the college mission and Student Services mission. I start every meeting, and Mr. Walloon can tell you, I start every meeting about, hey, let's stay mission focused. And so this is what this initiative does. So Finish What You Started. Finish What You Started is an initiative designed with a profound commitment to supporting our students' academic and career aspirations. Our goal is to reach those who began their academic career with us, but didn't finish. They just stopped out for whatever reason. We want to go back out and pull those students back into, to our home, make sure that they complete what they did. Now, of course, everyone can't do that. So to identify and engage potential students from this initiative, we have established a strategic process. Link, first of all, we want to make sure it's on our website. Secondly, we're going to strategic target students because we have the record. So it's not like we have to go out and looking and trying to find people. We have the records in the records office where we actually can see every student that stopped out. And we can strategically target those students. As soon as it's approved, we'll get with Dr. Albright, Mr. Wallow, and we will start targeting those students once we get everything solidified. And so during this forum, what we want to do, we're going to target those students. We want to know certain things we want to know. We want to know what their major is. Basically, we went into the assumption that Dr. Jones said, look, those students are probably working. So we need to know, are they working? what time they're working, when can they take classes? So it's some things we need to know to bring them in, because we can have applications come in, but if we don't know when they can take class or what they need, it does no good. This form, when a student fill out this form, it will be distributed to the office of the dean of students. So I will be keeping an eye on it, the director of admissions, the registrar, and the director of financial aid, to ensuring a collaborative approach from the onset. Also, and also Mr. Dow is on the team. So we want to make sure we got the funding, or we have secured the funding, more likely through institutional scholarships and other scholarships, which will be identified. Upon receipt of this information, this is basically persistence and retention. So the persistence and retention counts will guide a prospective student through the necessary preliminary steps. Application for federal financial aid, enrollment procedures at Lawson State Community College, accompanied by submission of any required document, which actually they should need, because if they was former students, all of that still should be on file. Completion of a Lawson State Community College scholarship application, which Mrs. Hollins has been tasked with changing that scholarship application to reflect the finish what you started scholarship. Our persistent retention counselor will work close with the registrar's office to verify the eligibility of the applicants under the initiatives, and I'll cover the eligibility requirements, because there's no need to bring in a student who has a 1.0. You can't get any degree in any place in the United States if you don't have a 2.0. At least I don't know of any. And those students who do not qualify, who has filled that application, we will transition them to the standard admission process for regular enrollment. We're not going to say, well, you don't qualify, go by your business. We will still assist those students, because no students will be turned around. No potential student will be turned around. Additionally, the council will facilitate the connection between the student and academic advisor. The committee thought that was very, very important, because we want to include, this is not a student service may be leading the way, but this is a collaborative effort with academics. We want to make sure that an academic advisor, critical step for accurate assessment of that student transcript, to know how many hours you need. Do you need 15 hours? Do you need 30 hours? Or can we count certain hours, certain classes for that major and get you out sooner? And then after that, the students will be prompted to advance to the remaining step, engaging with academic advisor for course guidance, of course, and proceeding with class registration. Who is eligible? They must have earned a minimum of 15 college credit hours at Lawson State, but not have graduated. We don't want students coming in that, well, we came one semester, did 6 hours, failed out, and like we want to come back, finish what you started. A cumulative GPA of at least a 2.0. As I said, it doesn't make sense to bring anyone in with a 1.0. We can't help them. They got to come back and we'll help them get standard admission, but basically you can't graduate with this at a 2.0. And the good thing by having a 2.0, 9 times out of 10, they're going to qualify unless they're not qualified due to taking so many hours, credit hours. They're going to qualify for some type of federal financial aid, usually Pell Grant, because they have the 2.0 to get that money. Pursuing your first Lawson State Community College certificate or degree. Previous degree holder from Lawson State or any other college is ineligible. Enrolled at Lawson State within the last 5 years. I think we discussed changing that to the last 2 so we can even limit it. But we know that when we meet again and talk about it, and the president give us some guidance, we probably more likely would drop that to maybe 2 or 3. Me personally, I would prefer to see 2 or 3 years than 5. The draft. We're working. Yeah, we're working. So what I'm doing is just letting you know what's coming down the pipe.
We need to include a PLA person on this prior learning assessment so we can give them credits for work experience they may have done. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're actually included in that. We discussed that, the trio and all of that, so. All right, one more minute, okay. Not enrolled at Lawson State the last 2 semesters, also Alabama resident. This, and priority will be given to students who are within 15 credit hours of completing their degree or certificate program. And that's it.
We have a question? We have a question? Any questions for Mr. Vance? Text it to him. I think I choked the agenda really. We have a lot more to get. Dorian, you gonna have something on the QEP? Look? Okay. Let's run through this. Dr. Jones. Yes, ma'am. Move you up first this time. And let's be succinct, everybody, going forward.
Just want to give you a little update on the career tech and workforce areas. Workforce development, we will be starting our new line worker program in January. That started out with 98 students who submitted an interest form, and they had to go through TABE testing and interviews and pole climbing assessment. And we have now selected 12 students have been selected that will start the class or the program in January. We'll also be starting we'll be starting a new program class through workforce, and it's personal finance class. And our new employee, Miss Chandra Cadell, is one who's has developed this, and so that will be starting soon. Something new that you may be hearing about, I know you've all heard or probably should have heard about the Skills for Success classes that's done or developed by the Innovation Center at ACCS. Well, now the high schools or the State Department of Education has said now that the high school students, if they take one of these classes, these Skills for Success classes, it will count as their career readiness indicator for high school graduation. And so because these classes, the theory part's done online, and then the lab part is usually a 1 to 2 day lab that they have to do on a community college, or it's done by a community college on their campus or at some location, then it's no cost either. This is paid through by tax or funds that were designated by the legislature. So high schools are jumping on this now because they don't have to pay anything, but they just have to go through a community college to get this done. So Tommy Hobbs and I both met this week with Jefferson County schools, and they are really on board there. Mr. Jackson there is really on board wanting to start these classes. So we can see that there's going to be a lot of these classes, or we feel like there's going to be a lot of requests from us to provide this for high school students. What we're probably, most of them what we've looked at, and what Jefferson County even looked at, they're probably going to be looking at wanting fiber optics, skid steer, food and beverage, and hotel operations. Those probably are going to be the ones that we'll focus on. There'll be more that come out later, but we'll probably be focusing on those. But I just want to let y'all know that this is something new that has come out. And so we'll be, I can see this is probably going to be something that really grows. I did hear from the Innovation Center, Houston Blackwood there, that he said 70% of the enrollment in the Skills for Success classes this semester was high school students. So you can see how this is really catching on with the high schools. I also wanted to let you know adult education has now started back they are doing adult ed orientation classes at the Birmingham Career Center again now. That's in addition to what we do already on our Birmingham and Bessemer campus, but we're back doing those at the Career Center. And adult ed also awarded this semester, have already awarded 138 certifications to students. So really proud of them. In the career tech and business side, we are finishing up the Perkins grant, or we've gotten our allocation, which we got 58,000 more than we got last year, but we're finishing up the grant with the requests from all the programs. We also have part of the grant with the Working for America Institute. It's called the Want To grant. And that grant that stands for Women in Apprenticeships and Non-Traditional Occupations. And so the Working for America Institute is the grant awardee, but we are a sub-award, and they're wanting to get females into our industrial maintenance and machine tool technology programs. And so if you may see out soon, there'll be a posting out there for a case manager. That is part of this grant, that position. This person will be working with those women who are going through our programs with funds from this grant. And so it's a grant funded position, but if you see that, that's what it will be. It's attached to. And also we are looking for a computer science instructor. You know, we have really have expanded our computer science program, and you heard Dr. Green talking about cybersecurity, and that's a big one of our programs that we'll really be marketing soon. And so we are needing another computer science instructor. So if you know anybody that's interested in teaching here in computer science, please let me know, or please forward them or refer them to the website. So that's fine.
Dr. Davis, thank you, George.
Hello, my Lawson family. Okay, we'll get started. We have a few things. One, spring registration is coming up soon. That schedule has been created. We're waiting for executive leadership to approve it. So I'm sure we're within a few days, hopefully, of that coming out. This microphone is, thank you. At the cabinet meeting and Dean Vance talked about that. We have a lot of pregnant students. It's just the way. And he said he was concerned about that. And you know us in academic affairs, we hear that, and then CTEL kicks in. So the Center for Teaching Excellence and Learning, right now, you know, I started working. You're going to have some training coming up. It's for everyone. It's faculty and staff. Very easy, but it's 2 videos, and you also have to take a quiz. You'll get certified. I'm going to really quickly take that training and tell you in three things you have to do if you're dealing with a pregnant student now. So when you exit this room, you'll have some training to move you forward. One, there's 2 things you need to say to a pregnant student. The first thing is congratulations. So let's practice that. Congratulations. The second thing, and this is true, this is what the lawyers are saying. That second thing you need to say after you say congratulations is, congratulations, how can I help you to ensure you're successful in this program? So let's practice that. How can I help you to be successful in this program? That is it. You're not giving any advice. You're not talking about why now. Have you thought about things? No, right? The third thing you need to say is, oh, Dean Vance, he's over pregnant students. So we're going to send you need to go, see Dean Vance. Now, you're going to go through the training, but those are the 3 things that you do. When you go outside of that line, you in trouble. You remember Whoopi Goldberg said, you in danger, girl. I'm saying you in danger, girl and guy. You in danger. So that's the training. Are we on the same page? Okay, good. All right. So that's coming out. It will be delivered via email. Attendance. And I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks. Let's not go down la-la land. We're hearing crazy things. Crazy things like, oh, I actually have to go to a ground course to establish attendance? You're hearing this from our students right now. I'm getting calls from faculty. Dr. Davis, do students have to attend ground courses? Wait a minute, we're not going down la-la land. We have something called guidelines, rules, policies, right? And you have that information. Students have the information. We give attendance on your academic, your calendars that we give you, you know, your to-do list calendars, faculty. If you go in there, it talks about how do you establish attendance. We have the same rules for all classes. So for ground courses, do they have to be there? Yeah. Okay. So, the students aren't making up the rules, are they? Oh, okay. I'm checking because I'm getting some crazy calls. Let's talk about virtual classes. If I'm not mistaken, virtual class means you're supposed to be what? Virtually meeting? Oh, you mean a student doesn't have to do that anymore? They changed that too? Aren't they online virtually? Come on, guys. What I'm saying to you is this. We manage and run this institution. And we are delivering, you know, those letters you're supposed to put out every semester, that some of you put out and some of you don't? Don't think we don't know. But those letters that we put out, this is a ground course. In those letters, we tell them how they establish attendance. But it's very difficult for us when we go out in your classes and your letters aren't out there, right? So what I'm sharing with you is that we have procedures. They have not changed in the last 20 years that I've been here. And we need to uphold that and not go down la-la land with our students, right? So let's just stick with that. If you have questions, please talk to your department chair. Dr. Crawford, I promise I'm gonna get through the rest quickly. Okay. Navigators, as you know, you heard Dr. Green talk about how we are focusing on gateway courses. We have introduced, and let me tell you, I'm excited. We have introduced for those two gateway courses, English 101 and Math 100, that have haunted us for years. We have introduced when they go to their lab, they have a class, plus they have a lab, and they have navigators. So imagine going to a class, you have a teacher, and you have either peer support or another teacher helping you. I met last week with the English teachers and the math instructors, and what they're reporting is this, that it's working. And they want more navigators. And those students who are getting the benefit of having a teacher plus a navigator, those students, we're not talking about the ones who aren't coming, even though that number is less. So that's another thing I want to report. So those who are benefiting, in other words, we have found, we believe, a way to really help our students. And that's coming from the faculty. We won't know till the end, right? But we believe we are on track. We also have cohorted these students. That's something we had done before. That's working. So all these different things are going on, and we're listening to our faculty to help to improve that process. So when you hear about that, I just put out a request for you to nominate navigators because the faculty said, Davis, we need more. So if you know someone who's very good in English, mathematics, please recommend them. You've heard us talk about how great our health professions programs are. With nursing, we always hear about nursing. Well, let's talk about this. So nursing went through accreditation. ACEN is their accrediting body. They came here, and I want all the nursing faculty and staff and administrators to stand up. Are y'all here today? No nursing people in the room? Okay, I was about to say, y'all going, okay. Where are our nursing people? Right, there we go, our nursing faculty. They did an excellent job. So the ACEN accreditation came, no recommendation, none. So Dr. Jericho and I, we did the final review as well as the president and the vice president. And I can tell you it was an excellent report. And they have worked on that for about over a year. So just a fan, but no recommendations, just absolutely outstanding. CODA is coming up, that's for dental. And believe it or not, that's right after Thanksgiving. So we're just thrilled. Dr. Ray has worked very, very hard, as well as our team, to review that report as well. So we're looking forward. We don't have any concerns about that visit as well. Tutor.com, you've heard us talk about today with Title III, retention matters. Here's the question I'm going to pose to you. If you're teaching a class, Tutor.com, as you know, it is extremely important. It helps our students because they have access to live tutors. Live tutors 24/7 a day for 361 days out of 365. So the question I'm posing is this. If your class is connected in any way, because there's over 250 subjects, you have students who are struggling, who don't do well on a quiz or a test, we need to recommend what? tutor.com. And if we don't, ask ourselves, why in the world would we not do that? If we're failing students and we didn't recommend that, that's a concern. Let me tell you how interested our students are. We did a nursing forum, just tutor.com and nursing students. I wanted to see how many would show up. Over 50 students showed up. And then we said to them, tell a friend, tell a friend. Okay, these students are interested. I'll also tell you, I'm not joking, I can't make it up. Every day, or at least every other day, I get a message from a student. I'm out of my minutes for tutor.com. One student, remember this, Dr. Wilson, she's here. I'll even pay, because that's how I'm passing calculus. We get feedback, we look at their feedback. 98% of our students who are using this product say, thank you, Lawson State, for bringing it to us. So we have to listen to our student feedback. So please make sure you use that product. Last note I have here, strategic planning for all of those directors and administrators. Don't forget where we are in the strategic planning process. We are now in November. That means we're at the tail end. We're going into TAP 2, and we're going to be reporting out for TAP 2 at the end of December. So that means in January, I think we're going to be meeting, right, Doc? In January professional session, you'll have TAP 2. So just be prepared for that. And I think that's it. Last thing, I just want to say thank you for all the love, concerns, expressions, and prayers. It means so much to me and my family. Thank you.
You all don't know, Geri, we have to make sure that she's helped down. All right. Just some reminders, and this slide actually was up last year, but I changed the dates. Professional development opportunities are available. We expect you to make sure it's relevant to what you're doing at your work in order to perform those responsibilities. We want you to submit your request timely. We want you to agree, you must agree to an impact activity, which that will be coming up possibly in November for some of you who already traveled, okay? Statewide professional development is coming up in ACCA, November 20th, 21st in Mobile. A few of you have been requested to go and been approved to go, so make sure that you take advantage of that and be ready to come back and report something there. The Lawson State professional development will take place in the Ward Technology Building. Okay, couple of questions here. And I gave you an article, an old article, and I marked it up a little bit, and I put some numbers 1 through 11 on some points that I thought were relevant in the article. I'm not going to go over those, but I just thought if I would underline those, your eyes would follow where I underline, right? So read those. It's a 2006 article, but the points that they're making in there are still relevant today. So dealing with customer service and talking about how customer service drives retention, which drives completion and all the success rates that we're looking for. So please read that and follow through with some of those suggestions. I'm going to skip that and go to the next slide. Overload and double overload. Some of you have overloads and you know your regular faculty, your regular work hours are 35 hours. If you have an overload, you must show the additional hours and you must commit to working those hours and being in the office or in the locations where you need to be. So if you have one overload, you should have 38 or 39. And I did 38 or 39 because you have the 16 hours in the 4-hour classes and the 3-hour classes. So that's why you have the one difference. Some of you, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately for you, you have a double overload. We're hoping to eliminate those because it's taxing to you, I know, to try to get 40 to 42 hours in every week to do the double overload, especially if you have multiple areas that you are teaching. Be sure that your locator cards are reflecting that and that you're actually spending the time on campus to reflect that. Your 35 hours cannot incorporate all your overloads, okay? Renovation and website. I'll talk about renovation. If you look at that, that is the ABCD building on the Birmingham campus. What are you noticing? No trees. All the trees have been taken down. We started out with about 4 or 5 or 6 of those 10 or 12 trees, and then we decided later on that all of them need to come down in order to improve that space. So all of those are down. They're currently working on making that a really nice area to convene, sit, do some other things on it. So it's going to really look nice once they're completed with it. And look at the front of that building. That looks really nice. And now they have the grass now. That is the B building, which we call the academic building on the Birmingham campus. I didn't put a copy of each building because that was the one that did the most extensive renovations on to the exterior as well as to the interior as well. We created about 14 or 16 office suites for faculty inside of here. We're in the process of ordering the furniture for the faculty. We already ordered the furniture for the student seating, and that should be in. One thing for faculty, we expect if we get this particular order in, that the furniture, they should be here December 18th and 19th to put furniture into the spaces there and all on both campuses and offices. You'll be expected somehow or another to probably pop in your leisure time and identify your stuff that we put in storage and try to get it back into your office. Some of it, all of it will not be going back into that space, okay? We are limiting what you have in there. A lot of non-matching furniture or unmatching, what is the correct word? Non-matching? Furniture that just doesn't match. All that stuff would not be going back in there, okay? And then all those boxes that you had, stuff that you should have taken home, some of your personal items, you might want to go ahead and just take that, retrieve it and carry it on home and leave what's necessary for you to teach your classes in that space. We want to keep it nice for you, comfortable for the students who are going to be visiting you in those spaces as well. So Birmingham and Bessemer campuses will both be receiving pretty much upgraded furniture. However, in the diesel building, where's Mr. Lowell? Mr. Lowell is so happy. He is halfway back into his building already. He started moving in there before we told him he could move in. Did they get the tables in, the desk in the student? How do they look? Good? Are they good? We're gonna get you some chairs. Go put those tables. Those are the ones that you're gonna have permanently. Yes, and then anyway, just say yes, this is not. I lock the door on you, so you can't get back in. Okay, so we intend to move that. The website is coming along. I'm gonna jump to the website. I don't have a slide for that, but the website is coming along. We are in the catalog phase, trying to get the catalog set up so it could integrate with the banner, with the system that we're using. And then we haven't set an exact date, but January is the time frame by which we intend to have this up and running at the start of the semester, pretty close to the start of the semester. But Dr. Davis, Dr. Green, Mr. Lamb, Becky, Billy, where are you? Oh Lord, these driving force, and Mr. Dorian Walliam back there. They are the driving force behind that website. It's going to be powerful, and it's going to be really something nice. And it's taken us a long time because we have multiple jobs and tasks that we're doing, and we're trying to do that as well. Okay, questions here on that page. Let me go back to the questions. We tried Spirit Days, and how did anybody participate in those Spirit Days? Yes. Well, was that what you expected for Spirit Day? Yeah, of course I did say you couldn't wear those jeggings and leggings and stuff like that, right? Okay, but anyway, we'll continue with those. Periodically, we'll have some special days that we want to recognize and then support the basketball team. We supported the volleyball team, so we'll probably do another one during that time frame and invite all the faculty and staff out to the game, not just one game, but come to all of them, several of them if you can. It's just a few hours extra in the afternoon. Matter of fact, we have a game this afternoon. Is that right, Dr. AG? He left already, he headed back to gym? Okay. And I'm not going to ask you the question because I had something else, a task I was going to do with that one. Let me go to this. Your calendar, you should have gotten a draft of the calendar. The committee is actually reviewing the 24-25 calendar now. That's why I put tentative up here. on that, but what you have are the start and ending dates, the most important dates. Everything else will fall in between there that you'll normally see on a full calendar. But these are the days for the remainder of this semester. We have graduation December 15th, as well as the last day for students, December 15th. Spring Thanksgiving break is coming up soon. Christmas break, December 19th to the 2nd. And then the staff break is, of course, 21st to the 27th. We come back to work on the 28th, staff, unless you take a leave, okay? Make sure your leave is in the system and approved. All right? I think once you walk through this calendar, if you feel like challenging, checking to see if we have the 88 days and 87 days, 87, 88, you can do that count if you want to on your own, but I do have some dates that we put out there that you can check on the calendar. It is in the email that I sent to everybody today, so if you don't get a copy outside, you have that as well. All right, I'm there. Thank you. Sure, Mr. Barrett. Okay, go back to renovation. Which one? Which image? So, Bessemer? Tell me about that. You said we downsized it? How many students were you able to have in the last time? How many students were you able to have in the welding? You had 25 booths, but you all taught 2 different classes with 10 students in each class. Now you have 25 booths. Again, so how did we downsize it? Hindsight now, we can't change that, sir. We're going to have to figure a work around it and how we can make it best fit for what we're going to do going forward. Okay. And because of the renovation, I'm getting some responses up here. Because of the renovation, we had to do some ADA compliance things, and that took away some of the space that you had, because you got to be able to have that 36 turnaround radius and all that kind of stuff. So that took a little bit of your space. So some of the stuff that you had in there that you didn't use, you don't need to put it back in there. That'll create you some more space. All right. I'm sorry that didn't help you. I know it wasn't the answer you were looking for, Barry, but we can't go back and undo what we've done. All right. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. Woo, y'all sound like it's the end. Good afternoon. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be quick, but remember, you still have to hear from the president, so don't walk out of here. All right. Guys, just want to give you a brief update. Want to recognize the Health Professions Division again for a number of things that they're doing to engage their students. Guys, you've heard a lot of information today, and one consistent thing you've heard is advising, retention, engagement, persistence. Everything we're doing here at the college aligns with the quality enhancement planning, and that's improving the services that we provide to our students. Tutor.com, Finish What You Start campaign. That is all aligned with what we wrote in the QEP. Just a brief story. The guy who delivers our printed material from UAB was in our office, and he said, "Hey, Dorian, I attended here a few years ago, some years ago, and I want to know if my credits were still here." Come to find out, he was one class away from graduation. And so he delivered our view books and then sat at the front desk, did an updated application, and he's going to graduate and walk in December. So that's finishing what you start. That's the level of engagement. But health professions, again, with this level of engagement, which is really important. I want to thank Dr. Derrico, Dr. Davis, partnering with Ms. Wilson this semester to do the health advising forums again for our students. This is a proactive way of engaging students as we get ready for spring registration. And so for every major that they have, they do an open advising forum for those students who are in those majors to come in and get pre-advised and talk about some of the things they need to know to prepare for the next semester. That's the level of engagement we want with the quality enhancement planning. If you're not doing things like that, I encourage you to do that. Especially as we get ready for the holiday season. And persistence is directly aligned with us getting as many students who are registered now to register for the upcoming semester. We're looking at about a 14% increase in our head count this semester from fall over fall. So we want to maintain that momentum going into the spring. The only way we do that is to proactively engage those students while we have them. Okay, so kudos to the Health Professions Division. Spring advising weeks, Ms. Wilson will release that information once we have the specific dates of when the schedule will be released. We are in the process of getting ready to hire a full-time advising office assistant to assist Ms. Wilson with her day-to-day activities in the advising locations. One of our initiatives with completion, an activity we did last year, was just a recognition of our graduates to bring them in as they end and culminate their time here at Lawson. So we're doing it again, but we're doing something a little different. This semester, November 29th, we're doing a Life After Lawson workshop. That is for our graduates that'll be graduating. We're going to have a panel discussion from industry professionals and college transfer folks to talk about life after Lawson and help those students prepare for life after Lawson. So you'll see information on that. We encourage you to attend as well as the graduates. Professional development last year, Ms. Hall and Ms. Harper did training in November on advising. So we're going to have another session. This professional development days, we'll have another training session for you to take advantage of. And then implementation. Let me talk about this very quickly. That's Health Professions Day. Good stuff. They had over 121 students participate. That was great. I want to thank you all for bearing with me throughout this semester as we trained with Target X advising and retention. Okay. I want to thank those of you who attended the 4 virtual sessions we had to teach you how to use our new software. Guys, we are in the last stages of launch with that. There's one me CRM, and then there's one CRM administrator in the system office. And she's been working every day, even sick, to get us up and running where we need to be. You've been getting emails. You've got a recording of the first thing that we need to do, which is pairing your calendar. And so let me talk about what that looks like and the importance of that real quick. We're not using Square Up anymore. Dr. Davis and I have talked, and we've decided that wasn't the best means moving forward. So now we have a system, a part of Target X that allows us to do appointment scheduler. I work with Dr. Davis and Dr. Jones to build appointment reasons. And so what it will look like business process. Our appointment scheduler link will be placed on the website. Students will request an appointment. Based on the reason, they will only see advisors who are associated with their reason. So example, I am a welding student. Once I selected to schedule an appointment for advising, I will only see advisors who have reasons that they service being welding. So I won't see Ms. Bell if her reason for advising is human resources, and she won't pop up as an available advisor, okay? From there, they will see a list of available advisors and the available times and modalities in which they can schedule an appointment. So what does that mean for you? You've got to build your availability. You've got to edit your profile in Target X, and you have to connect your reasons, and then you have to add your availability. I'm gonna give another shout out to Health Professions, right? Dr. Swain scheduled a virtual appointment for her team this week, and we worked on everybody. Some people had some issues. We ran across some issues that we needed to update. We needed to get the system office involved, and we got it fixed. Guys, we're gonna have to be proactive, okay? What I want you to think about is a world where your students can't get in touch with you and can't schedule an appointment, or you don't know what's going on in your schedule. I want to again thank the Health Professions Division. I've been in their offices this week, Dr. Ray, Ms. Foster. I'm in their office getting them set up. And so what it's going to look like, it's a one-way street. In Target X, your calendar is paired with your Outlook calendar, okay? A student will schedule an appointment. You'll have your personal appointment link, and then there's the general the modules. So we got a baseline now. We know what we need to do for the spring to increase engagement and get them to participate in this system. It's a really intuitive system. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. If you want to do it, if you go to new student orientation on the college website and you look at Cougar onboarding, you can log in with your single sign-on as a staff member and you can go through the modules. Okay, you can go through it, give us some feedback on things we may need to update. I think that's it, Dr. Crawford. That's it, I'm done. Any questions about Target X retention though? I do want to take any questions on that. I talked to a few guys in the lunchroom today. We're gonna get together. Anybody else? Okay.
As Dr. Anthony is coming forth to give the closing remarks, let me just go ahead, and I forgot to mention this during our presentation. Dr. Davis, if you and Dr. King have finished those, the last request on the schedule, then if that's finished, then it's released to be published for access. Okay? I'm giving permission to start today, soon if they finish the task. Oh. The dates should be already built into the system. I think the dates are already built in for registration, right? Yes. Yeah, I believe so. You just got to turn it on. All right. Our president, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Many of the things that I had on my list have already been discussed, so I will not go back through them, but I do want to highlight a couple of things as we've gone through. You've heard about Target X. You've heard about, well, I don't know that we talked a lot about Ad Astra. We talked about, we know that there's Canvas migration that's going on. When we look at all of those, to sum it up, there are many new initiatives going on that are coming down from the ACCS system office. Just know that this is not a season of business as usual. It is not. And we are not going to survive. We're certainly not going to thrive if we are still sitting in a place where we think it is business as usual. So, Ms. Hall, you ready? Ms. Hall is ready. She is on it. Let me go through what I have here. Chief Blanton talked about some safety and security. Please know that there are some major changes and policy implications coming down the line with regard to safety and security. As we see what's going on around the country, especially on our college campuses, there are going to be some things that we have to kind of boost up our safety and security measures with, and Chief and I are working on some of those. Retention matters. You've heard Dr. Green talk about it from a Title III perspective. Dr. Davis talked about it from the attendance and what we need to be doing there. Of course, Dorian has talked about it. Our funding is based on enrollment, or will continually be more and more based on enrollment. Retention drives enrollment. There are only so many bodies out there, y'all, and if they keep going out the door, many of them we're not going to be able to get back in. So it is incumbent upon us to do what we need to do to keep our students here, as opposed to trying to continually recruit. There's not many more out there to recruit. So that brings me to talking about, you heard Dr. Jones talk about skills for success, where many of these high school students will now be taking some short-term, non-credit training kind of classes that they can get certifications in, and they're going to be ready to go to work. What does that say about, or what are the implications for our programs? If we don't have some vibrant, some innovative and relevant programs, students are not going to come to them. There are so many other options out there. Employers are doing their own skills training. You know, students aren't looking to sit, and nor sometimes do they need to sit in class for 2 years to be able to go and get a good job. So we're going to have to kind of recreate and reinvent some of what we're doing to actually make people want to come to some of these classes that we have. That's just the bottom line on it. Because there's so much competition for what we're doing. And if we don't perk some things up, the competition is going to win. Whether we're talking about high school students or whether we're talking about non-traditional students that Amazon and FedEx and Smuckers and all of these places are saying, oh yeah, come on in, we're going to teach you this. All you need is these core competencies and then we'll teach you the rest. Or we could do some short-term training, teach them the core competencies, let them go get the job, and Amazon and FedEx and all of them will now pay for them to come to school here. But it's a change in mindset from what we have traditionally done. So we're going to have to work a little bit harder on that. You all met Ms. Cadell back there. I'm going to tell you, she's knocking it out of the water because they're working with business and industry people, creating short-term training based on what business and industry is saying they want. If they tell Ms. Cadell, you know what, I just need somebody who knows and who has what's one of those certifications? And meter certification. And we can do that in 3 weeks. Well, why would they come and take a class for a whole semester to get those same 2 certifications, a meter and a safety certification, when the employer is saying, just teach them this part of it. I just need that. We've got to rethink how we're teaching these classes. And that's not just for the career tech parts of it. We had a presentation at the board meeting yesterday about a 5-day speech class, 1 week, not just the interim that we're doing, but a speech class that is from 4 to 9 or 4 to 8, whatever the number of hours is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, take your exam on Saturday morning as a regular part of the schedule, because that's when students can come and do it. Not 8 weeks, not 12 weeks, a whole week. And the class is filling up every time at that institution. We have got to rethink what we're doing and how we're doing it. Travel guidelines, Ms. Cruz talked about those. We'll have that out there for you. But the key that I need to reiterate, it must be pre-approved. Please do not have that airline ticket bought and then send that through and expect, because for one thing, that's an audit issue. When we've got those receipts put on there and the travel has been already done before it even gets to me to sign it. And I'm gonna sign it when I get it. I'm not gonna back sign it to match. So you need to remember that. Ms. Bell will be sending out information. We've got a lot of new people here. There is a requirement that you submit a notification of secondary employment. So Ms. Bell will get that out to you for new people or for anyone who has secondary employment. We'll get that done. Dual enrollment, we're really working on revamping and revising how we operate our dual enrollment programs. That goes again to, you got to make your classes something that our high school students really want to come in and take. If we're teaching it the same way we've always taught it, and here's my syllabus and that's it, high school students are not going to come and do it, because they are a different breed of students that think a whole lot differently. And everybody agrees to that. So those are the major things that I just wanted to put a pin in for us. And after I've said all that, and I know it sounds like I'm going, y'all got to do better, you got to do better. Well, I am saying that, but I'm also saying thank you all so much for what you do for Lawson State Community College and the students that we serve. I appreciate you. That's all I have. Thank you.
if there are questions. Let me say, you've been an awesome audience. Do you have any questions? So if you need any more clarity on anything, you're welcome to stay around and talk with us. But I'm leaving at 5 o'clock to go back over to the basketball game. I didn't say I was going home. I'm going back to the basketball game, which I go every evening that I'm there to watch basketball. So join me if you wish. I did see some faculty in some volleyball games with their children. That was really exciting to see that. So please come out and join us. Any questions? Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, and they are forming a faculty choir. That flyer is out or either going out. So watch for that. If you want to join in on the choir, I'll be there, but I can't sing. And tomorrow, if you want to work, please do so, but we're not paying you any extra money. It is a holiday honoring our veterans, so we do not work on tomorrow. But of course, I have an appointment tomorrow here on campus in Bessemer at 10 o'clock tomorrow, so I'll be working. Feel free. Any other questions? All right, thank you and be safe.